One thing I hate is going to bat for someone just for them to prove me wrong. It pisses me off. Alright, now, I'm not totally wrong when it comes to MrBeast. I hold by my last video. Until I have evidence that he was involved in the same crap that Chris was involved in, I'm not going to go there. But as it's come out from a previous, someone that used to work for him and a few other people, some stuff has come out that pissed me off a lot. Things that, now for the record, like I said, I may have seen 3 or 4 MrBeast videos. I've gotten more to know him in the last today than ever before. And these accusations, and they are still technically accusations, I just got some Forrest Whitaker eye going on there, then fuck that guy. I'm just going to throw it out there. I still maintain it's going to be super hard to cancel the guy to end the guy's career with it. But there is a chance that MrBeast could face some jail time. This has to do with some legalities in his, quote, giveaways, which the way he does it, as this person who had this really long 1-hour video, I have been watching video upon video. I didn't even take notes. Normally I would take notes. No, I'm just going to go into it a little bit here. Other people do it way better. Mudahar, some more Gaming, you know, check that out. A bunch of other people, really good job. Turkey Tom covered it quite a bit, or a little bit. I think Charlie covered it. Moist Critical. Like, any of you guys don't know who these people are, right? So the gist of it is, homeboy worked for him for a short time, pointed out some, hey, you might not want to do this. This is kind of illegal. And the accusation boils down to this. He's targeting children for basically lotteries. And it's a big thing. Like, here's a point. It's funny because it stems, what he touches on is how addictive gambling is to the human brain. It's true. You get on that winning streak, you feel like you can win, you feel like you can suddenly do better. It's a big deal. Once you start playing those games, you start digging into it. It goes back to a video I made bitching about Call of Duty, where I mentioned when you buy that $30 skin, suddenly you're really good at the game, and that's marketed towards little kids. It's that same thing I was bitching about with Call of Duty. It's like they're the same fucking person. We need to have a picture. I'm going to make a meme of this one day. It's just going to be a picture of some dude selling fentanyl on the street corner. And it's going to be like imposed with Jimmy's face, MrBeast's face, and the Activision sales staff, because it's the same crap. They're digging into what makes you feel good to try to give you the opportunity, quote unquote, to be better than you are, to get better than you are, to have better than you are. And it's sick. You shouldn't point to kids like that. Now, everybody markets things that way. Again, capitalism is capitalism. I love capitalism. Anyone that knows me, I'm relatively conservative. I'm trying not to be too political here. But at the same time, there should be a limit to how you target these things. And if your giveaways are fraudulent, that's a big freaking problem. That's a no-no. And one of the accusations is that the people that win are all either people that MrBeast is friends with, or people that are relatives of people that work for MrBeast Incorporated, or whatever the company fucking title is. I don't really know. That's a big no-no. Like, if you listen to a radio station giveaway, it straight up says with a disclaimer, you're not eligible if you're related to any of the staff, or if you are staff of this radio station, for a reason, because fair and balanced giveaways are a thing. A fair and balanced lottery is a thing. Hell, even the Bible talks about God hates unbalanced scales, if you want to go that route. So if you're a big Christian person who's really into the Bible and that's your moral guideline, this should piss you off a lot. If it pisses God off, it should piss you off too. If you're out there detracting and saying one thing and saying something else, whatever. I'm not going to get into the semantics of that entire argument situation. Look, the guy, it's looking more and more like I stood up for an asshole. Now, I'm going to hold back and say, you know, the business part of it is, I can forgive that based on capitalism to a degree. Scummy practices. No one is doing the same thing to pharmaceutical companies, trying to get them completely put out of business right now. And we know those guys are complete scumbags. We're not doing this about news sites who directly lie to your face and the next day go and contradict what they said. So if we're not going to do that, we shouldn't go after this guy for this. The more comes out, though, about these chat logs now, about MrBeast being involved in these conversations that Chris said pedophile, I'm just going to say it, have in common there. That's very problematic if he was that involved with it. Because in the arguments, no longer, maybe Jimmy didn't know about it. And I guess Jimmy's his name, right? I've been sad. I hope to God that's the Jimmy they're talking about is MrBeast. To me, that's what I've heard it as. And I wasn't paying enough attention, but I think that's his name. And I know you guys are thinking, oh yeah, whatever. You watch his videos. I really don't. Like I said, I've seen a few, 3 or 4. Like I think I saw part of the Squid Games one, but I didn't really watch any of it because my kids got really involved in the Squid Game TV show, and I got burned out on it. And then I found out what kind of show it was, and I was like, why are my children watching this? Long story. I saw the one where they were like standing in circles, and that is brought up in this video briefly, where it mentions that's not real at all. Like all of that was staged, which is completely believable to me that you would stage that. The allegations here and the accusations could definitely land MrBeast in the big house for years, a number of years. I don't know how many. I'm not up to date on lottery law as well as I like to be. I think for a guy who does sit and read legal briefs for fun occasionally, which I haven't done in a while, I need to touch up on that. I would have a better understanding of it, but I don't. I should. But to me, it sounds like this guy points out, like it's an illegal lottery. And I as soon as he started describing it that way, I was like, yeah, okay, if this is faked or if this is that way, that makes sense. A lot of it is state-based, but when you bring in, I think you said the FDIC is involved, or the FDA, not the FDA, Jesus Christ, the FDIC is a Federal Trade Commission thing. So probably them. And it sounds like a lawsuit, or at least a complaint was filed with the proper authorities by the end of this video, but I'm not sure. We'll see where that goes. So that pisses me off enough. But hearing now about the Discord logs coming out, or getting ready to come out, and having MrBeast's particular name, his user number for Discord, because that's a thing, you get issued a number based on whatever server you're in, and it sounds like the one is directly his and may have been involved in some of these disgusting conversations with obvious minors. And I really hope that's not true, and I hope that if it was something going on, that his involvement was putting the kibosh on it, or saying, you guys got to knock this off, this isn't funny, even if he thought it was joking. I have friends that make screwed up jokes all the time, like the bad Barbie joke thing or whatever, what he's talking about. He said something very lewd and disgusting. The girl was still 14. But that kind of joke, if it's meant as a joke amongst your buddies, not good, not really forgivable. But if it's just meant as a fucked up joke, because he allegedly followed it up with, I was hoping that all of you guys would have said, I wouldn't do that, she's 14. That's the story I've heard. I need to read into it more. But if he said that, I can kind of, okay. Because I've said screwed up things to my friends just trying to goad them. And I think all of us have, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. So definitely I don't want to get the torches out yet, but when it comes to his marketing and his giveaways, that's pretty egregious, and it's pretty obvious he's guilty there. Again, jury of your peers, innocent till proven guilty. It just looks really, really obvious, and that's unfortunate for someone who has done so well on the platform that a lot of us are struggling to get somewhere on, and not having those intentions and thinking that your talent can get you somewhere, or you can produce some content that make people genuinely interested and that you can be successful doing that, and instead you're surrounding yourself with buy-offs and stuff, and that's just not good. That's just politician stuff. Like that's what the Senate and Congress do. That's why these guys stay in office. It's really incestuous to do that kind of thing, and it's really bad. If you look at a company, any company you've ever worked at has that one total garbage, worthless employee who was related to one of the bosses, or is friends of a friend that is part of the staff. And they make the job harder for everybody else. And that's what it sounds like this is just a bunch of. Like a circle jerk of stupidity and just self-aggrandizement. And it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. But we're still going to hold out. I'm going to hold out the wood chipper meme until we know more about how he actually approached this whole thing with minors, because that's going to be it for me. I can almost overlook the business aspect of it, because McDonald's, no one's out there picketing McDonald's right now, Burger King, any of that. No one's out there throwing a temper tantrum over Pokemon or any other thing that's marketed towards kids. Because none of those guys in suits that make that shit give a crap about your kids or their well-being. There's a reason when I was a kid that cartoons changed from being based on toys to sell toys to just cartoons. And they still ended up being the same thing. They just found loopholes, guys. The market, it's decided by you. So you figure it out. If you don't want to give MrBeast money, I don't boycott unless it's something really egregious. In this case, now he's involved, it sounds like, with Amazon. Not exactly the most honest and good company to deal with. So, thoughts and prayers, I guess. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below, please, in the comments. Give this video a like if you are interested in it. Even if you don't agree, put your comments down and tell me why I'm wrong. But go into detail. Let's actually have a useful conversation here, not just a shirk fest of, oh, you should do this and that. I would like to actually pick your guys' brains on what you think. Like, did you watch these I'll call it a documentary. This thing's an hour long the guy put into. And it's just like any other editorial piece that I've seen. No point in not calling it a documentary. The guy puts some damn work in, and I should have the freaking name of it off the top of my head. I will put the name of it in the comments, or in the description down below. I could use some subscriptions, some subs, if you guys are down for that. I'd really appreciate it as a new channel. Taking the time to get this stuff done is fun, and the more I see people involved, the more time I'm going to put into it, I do put time into it, and I wouldn't mind having some, just to see that it's getting somewhere. All right, guys. Let me know what games you're playing. Catch me on Twitch live almost every day. I've taken about a week off because I'm redoing the studio and doing some other stuff in my personal life. It's been kind of rough, so I'm trying to get that sorted. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye. You gonna roll the credits?